of currently 19 completely separate people. By the way, hello recording, it just got pressed, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I was just saying that I've never done this before in the same way. Just a little bit about my background of me and composition. I have I have wanted to for the last 17 years, not at the moment, I've moved on, but I've done 17 years as a classroom music teacher, teaching music to 11 to 18-year-olds. And we have to, again, as part of that GCSE music in this country, so those kind of 16-year-old kind of exams, and then A-levels and stuff at 18, to basically help students to take creative ideas and make completed compositions. And it's sometimes quite a labour of love to get them to get those creative ideas out and then to kind of map with them what to do with them. I am not a professional composer. I don't have actually official qualifications in composition.
Ooh.
That's all right, it's not a problem.
Sorry.
That's okay, it's no worries. So yeah, I was like that you were muting everyone, but then forgot that it would mute me as well. But that's okay, that's no worries. I'm not taking it personally. There's the welcome gone. So just to say, I'm not a kind of professional composer. I earn my living from composition, but at the same point, I work with a lot of people who have limited compositional kind of stuff, and especially trying to get students to write lyrics and stuff like that is a nightmare, especially trying to tell them that not everything needs to rhyme. Which is kind of like, what rhymes with shadow? And then literally 2 hours later, you've got like a really boring limerick. It's just like, yeah. So 90 minutes, which I think is what we've got for this session, is not very much. Obviously, usually in creating a composition, you're talking hours, days, weeks, months, years, dependent on what type of composition and whatever. But again, one thing I have done in my time as a teacher is how to do things quickly. And obviously, I like composing music myself, but trying to create things quickly, and that requires a little bit of psychology. Not obviously Susan Campbell psychology, because that's actually with knowledge. Mine is the psychology of the blagger. So it's the psychology of the blagger. It's being, again, and actually it's a mantra of be kind, which is when you come up with musical ideas, and we're going to have to go through this today, is being kind to your ideas, basically, not necessarily second guessing, kind of going with it and allowing failure, and that therefore you kind of go from that. Again, doubt and kind of like worrying about things means that you end up going a long way down the road not actually having created anything. And again, this is a generalization, just gonna kind of say the two extreme camps of coming up with creative ideas. Camp number one is what I'm going to say the stereotypical teenage boy, which is stereotypical teenage boy way of composing will be splurge, which will be come up with an idea, go, yeah, that's all right, and then they will continue with that idea, and they won't necessarily worry as much about taking risks. They'll just do stuff. They'll create stuff, they'll do stuff, and the initial composition will happen quite quickly. The negative of that approach is, because I have this approach, the negative is that once they've used up that initial bit of creative energy, they're done. And they don't want to go back, refine, improve, edit. As far as they're concerned, it's done. And I don't want to go back and do any more work on it because it's already done. It's like me and scores. No. And this is very stereotypical teenage girl approach of composing, and again there's always differences with this, but is often not wanting to fail. So is being risk averse, is really being not very kind on the initial musical ideas and going, oh, that's terrible, scribble it out. Oh, that's terrible, scribble it out. Record something, delete it. Record something, delete it. 3 hours have passed, and when you then go, cool, what have we got? Can I have a listen? They say, and they've been working, but they've got nothing to show for it because no idea was good enough. Nothing passed the kind of high expectation. And what we actually want, but the positive is when they do get those ideas, when you they actually then do go back, refine, improve, and the quality level gets to where it needs to be. So kind of, I always say to, when I've taught students composition, that they need to have kind of that initial are willing to jump off the cliff and take some risks, but then they actually need to then sit back and then be able to edit and refine. So actually neither approach is better, but I think we just all need to realise what our approach might be. And you may well not be a stereotypical teenage boy or a stereotypical teenage girl, because none of you are teenagers based upon your camera shots. I'm just assuming there. My apologies. If you are a teenager, please let it be known, and I will apologise profusely. You just obviously had a really difficult paper round. So we will kind of get going. Now, a little bit of etiquette. I want you to be having... This is communal, so the idea is we finish up with a song. Well, use the word finish, but we come up with a song. And using the chat is definitely going to be of use. I'm sure Debbie will be happy about that. Using the chat is going to be very useful. And what we need to do is we need to come up with ideas. We need to discuss things. I'm going to give you time to think, but I'm also going to give you time to type. And it may be that if you have pen and pencil, because I still, when I do words, I actually have to write stuff down. I have to actually physically write things down, and then I type it out. I just, that's how I am. Some of you might be fine with typing ideas, but I like writing lyrical ideas out by hand. And again, otherwise the backspace key can become far too much your friend. And so really we're going to come up with ideas. We're going to put things in to the chat. We have got the ability to sometimes unmute. What we need to make sure we're not doing is over discussing, and that sounds harsh, but it's wanting to get through to something, rather than we have the bare bones of a brilliant song and the sum total of no music, melody or chord sequence, and we all go away thinking, oh, it's a shame we didn't have 3 weeks to do this. So we're going to start, and we're going to go quick, and it's going to be a little bit of a whirlwind tour, and I'm going to have to do my best, because like I said, never done it this way before, so we'll go with. So the first question I have for you all to think about is, when we sit down and write a composition, we're going to do this, is what is it going to be about? But I'm going to make it simpler for you. I want it to be if anybody, you're not allowed to write what a wonderful weekend we've all had. Okay? That is not going to be what the song is about. Okay? So I don't want you to... We're not going to write a song called Thank Heavens for Collective College. No, because I wouldn't be able to look at myself in a mirror if we ended up doing something like that. So I want general, I suppose, emotional things. How are we feeling? And I don't mean how are you actually feeling, but what is it we're fancying composing? Are we going positive? Are we going upbeat? Are we going a bit more kind of reflective? And we're going to go with, I have to say, some kind of joint decision. I bloody hate joint decisions, but I would like you to, in the chat, be having a think. If you want to raise your hand and unmute, just raise your hand, and Rachel will... oh, that's meta. Write a song about writing a song. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one. We could. Brighter days are coming. If you want to say your idea and you're not very good at typing, then just raise your hand and Rachel will tell you to unmute. So raise your hand. I can see everyone on the screen. So if you've got ideas, raise your hand and you can share that or type in stuff. Mike.
I'm sorry, go
on. Right, I don't know if you guys would think about a love song or unrequited love, something like Scratch the Surface or something along those lines, Simon.
Okay, so possibly some kind of love song.
Did you say unrequited, Michael?
Unrequited love, or
unrequited love. I might end up crying. But that happens quite often. Let me just read through some ideas. What we're going to do is, so we've got that one, and then let's have a look through all these different thoughts. Obviously, you can check. So brighter days are coming, reflective but upbeat. Upbeat and rocky, says Rosemary. Interesting. Singing together across the world. Hopeful. Happiness with unexpected friendships. Upbeat and happy. Excitement and community. Something uplifting, feeling good. And Jeff Linified with tight harmonies. You don't want much, do you, Lynn? You don't want much. It's got to sound like ELO. Okay, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's just write the new Mr. Blue Sky right now. That won't be difficult. A combination of Kath and Lorna. You want a song about a combination of Kath and Lorna? Like if we cloned them and did a genetic experiment.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah,
exactly. Let's do that. Peace and freedom, joyful, upbeat, finding a new normal, reflective. Okay. So we're generally looking, the general consensus of opinion is that we're looking positive. We might be looking reflective, positive, and upbeat. And again, these are very generalized things. Okay. So, yeah, happiness. Yes, exactly. Happiness, yes. I wasn't saying a penis. That will be a different song entirely. That's not what I was saying, just in case you were getting worried about the direction this was going. Someone had their hand up.
Yeah,
Rachel.
I like Aviva's Unexpected Friendships. I like that.
Yeah. So, so we have generally the idea of that kind of general idea. Now, so what I will do is I'll pull that together and I'll say that we will go for something reflective. We'll go for something upbeat. We'll go for something that is not about the collective. We need to be, in my opinion, we're going to go vague. We're going to go general, broad brushstrokes as opposed to specific things. Like, I don't want to go along the lines of, remember in March 2020 when a man called Simon decided to make a choir. Probably a little bit too specific, if you get my meaning. So we want general kind of thoughts. So what I would now like you to do, and I'm giving you a little bit of time and I'm going to do a similar thing, is all I want is like general, and don't try to make them into lyrics, general fragment sentences. So even like little bits in your head. So like if you kind of think like there's a little word play or some words that work together, all I want is you to put that in the chat, okay? Or write it down, okay? I'm going to give you a good kind of 3 minutes for this, which is a long time. So just basically, yeah, just think about some ideas that have that general kind of feeling. And we're going to have a look. And I'm going to do a similar thing as well. I'm going to start typing. So if you hear a tippy-tappy, that's my keyboard. So think and type. And don't worry, the chat will not be shared. So if you come up with something and it's not the greatest idea, it's not a problem. So just put ideas out there and don't worry about people judging your thoughts. There'll be enough of them that we can filter through and we can go with what we think. Okay? Ooh, okay, some nice ideas coming in here. Keep them coming. Just again, what you can also do, and this is a positive thing about the communal aspect, is you might see something that somebody else has typed, and that might then make you want to continue that sentence, continue that thing. So you can even almost put responses to other people's beginnings, if that makes sense. So if someone puts something, you go, ooh, I like that, and that might then spur you on. So this initial bit is going to be a lot of splurging and a lot of jumping into general areas. Oh, I love it. Simon Says is entering the room. That's someone who put the password in as their name. That's all right. It's someone. Here we go. I'm going to give you about a minute or two, then we'll make some starts. I don't know, Mike Dodd. Who was that girl you dreamed of last night? I think you were probably oversharing there, mate. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. I couldn't.
That's between me and myself, mate. That's between me and myself.
Sorry, Mike. I just read that and I thought initially it was a question. I'm like, I don't know who the girl you dreamt of last night is, Mike. And now is hardly the time or place.
You wanted
With my
openness and
girlfriend,
honesty,
that's all.
Simon.
We wanted honesty, and I got
Yeah.
brutal honesty. I like it. People are going in the direction of having gone kind of like, again, it's interesting, and this is how, again, in fact, I'm going to give you 20 seconds more, and I'm just gonna come up with a teacher type observation about some of these ideas, and this is a good thing, but I'll give you like 10 seconds. 10 seconds to get any last ideas in. Okay, so stop typing. Excellent. Interestingly enough, our initial musical idea was quite generalized to a general feeling. And what we've all done as human beings, quite a lot of us, we have put that into a person. If you thought we started off with generalized ideas about this general idea of that, and we've actually, oddly enough, turned it towards focusing on a person. Now, interesting enough, quite a lot of songs, and again, like I said, I'm not a professional songwriter. God, I'd bloody love to be, but I'm not. Is often when we have songs that are about a person, that person often is an idea. So the person isn't necessarily always about an actual person. It's just easier to sing about a you. Sometimes it's easier to write lyrics about almost like the idea of a person, but that person embodies all those overarching feelings and thoughts and emotions that we're wanting to convey. I think and I do this as well, in that actually sometimes it's easier to do that. It makes more sense to add some humanity into it rather than keeping it. And I didn't tell you to do that, but it's quite nice that quite a lot of you went in the direction of pointing it towards creating a person to focus that on. And obviously for some of you it's a her, for some of you it might be a he, for some of you it wasn't said, but it's interesting that you went towards making this a figure, a person, a you, as opposed to a overarching thing, because we want to actually grip hold of something sometimes. Again, this is just from what you've typed in there. So let's have a look and go through. Now, I'm going to let you all to have a little time to read through some of these ideas. So please feel free to use the chat. Debbie loves this session so much. It might as well be called the anti-Debbie session. It's like use the chat, use the chat, use the chat, use the chat, use the chat. If you have a look through, I'm going to then what I like doing sometimes is jumping. So we've got some general ideas, and actually I'm not going to write any lyrics at this point. It's just what I'm choosing to do, and this is my mood at the moment, and you find your way. I'd like to now think about, is it going to be a cappella or is it going to be with instruments? Is it going to be instrumentation or is it going to be a cappella? Is a thought. Because that, again, it depends what you think. There's positives and negatives to both approaches. Okay. I've got my keyboard plugged in just in case. But it depends how... oh, look at... There was like a cappella, a cappella, a cappella. Yeah, we could... Yeah. Nolene... Oh, Nolene wants both. She wants a cappella and instrumental. Piano and acoustic guitar. I have an acoustic guitar sound from my keyboard. I can't play the guitar, sadly. So I can play the violin, but I'm not sure we need a violin solo in this. Not quite sure that would really set the tone. So it seems to be a little bit mixed. So we'll see. So that basically gives me carte blanche to do whatever the bloomin' hell I like, because there was not a joint decision. It seemed to be relative, probably slightly more people thinking a cappella, but you never know. We'll kind of go with. So the next thing is, if we're looking at kind of upbeat, the next decision to make is based upon those lyrical ideas you've got there. What kind? Again, next thing is tempo, speed. The kind of the ideas you've been coming at, lyrical ideas, we need to think about what kind of speed we're looking at. So that's the next thing. It's kind of like, again, don't worry too much about key at the moment. It's like, because that'll just be opening mouth and making noise. But what do we think? If we go slower, it becomes more reflective. If it goes slightly faster, obviously it gains energy. A tempo, and some types and genres of music have a defined tempo with them. So if you want to do a certain type of music, you'll kind of go for a certain type of tempo. So not slow. A ballad that builds. Jazzy, says Nolene. Medium. No, I'm fine, thank you. Up tempo with a bit of swing. Something dancey. Slow-ish. Jazzy 12/8. Jazzy 12/8. Okay. So we're seeming to think something that isn't too fast, but is kind of like... You like the what can I say tempo, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that, about 120 BPM probably, I imagine? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play on this and it's going to click at you. And then we need to work out that if it's too fast. This is 120 beats a minute and I'm going to press it and you'll hear it. Oh, I was exactly right on 120. Now, that could be okay. Might want to go a couple of clicks down. That might be a little bit too upbeat and not give us chance for adequate reflection. So, and this is just me, the kind of decisions you make when you start. Now, often I would make these decisions very quickly, but there is like 25 of us in a room, so it takes a little bit longer. I don't want to involve you. So this is not you watching me compose. It's just I'm the conduit. Be okay with that? Kind of, it's not slow, but it's not fast. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm gonna up it to 105 just to give it a little bit more skip. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, sorry. 100 just seemed to slightly drag. 120 was a touch on the fast side. Okay, so next thing is I'm actually going to start with piano. Because I might do some a cappella, but I might just start with piano because very rarely do I actually bloody compose with an instrument anymore. It's all a cappella. It's either a cappella or sing over a backing track. So now, second disclaimer: I'm not a piano player. I can play the keyboard, but I'm not a good piano player. Like, don't expect me to play like Chopin or Liszt or anything. I play like bad church pianist. Okay, like octave in the bass, octave bass in the left hand, and kind of a triad chord in the right hand, and then I wiggle my fingers around. Yeah, wiggly finger around. That's basically what I can do. Okay, so I'm assuming you want to be in a major key because we were looking at upbeat. I'm not sure sticking it in a minor key, as much as I love a minor key. I'm not sure if we're kind of literally like. I'm not quite sure that's going to give us the upbeat look we're going for. So, one sec. Now, I'm going to put it in for the moment. I'm going to put it in a major key that I like playing in. So, I'll do it with one that does not feature too many black notes because then my fingers have to do difficult things. So, I'm just going to basically press this. And really, in a song, I'm going to go very simplistic here. We've generally got three main chords we want to start looking at using, which is, at this point, the chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. Okay? In this case, C, F major, G major, and you've got C major. Okay, so that's chord 1, 4, 5. In these pieces, now we could just do that. We could literally just be like, if you did 12-bar blues, you could just literally just have those three chords and then you'd have it. However, that would make me feel inadequate. So we will use some interesting chords as well. So primary chords, they're called the primary chords. Chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. Again, we have the ability to stick some minor chords in. Now, I'm not going to go through the theory. You've probably attended some theory. But generally, if you're in a major key, chord 1, 4, 5, your tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords of 1, 4, 5. And then your minor chords are chord 2, 3, and 6. So D minor, E minor, and A minor. So I'm going to play them for you and you'll see what I mean. So we're only going to use 6 chords. I'm not going to modulate. I think it would be foolish to try and do a modulation in a song. We've got not that long left. So here we go. These are the chords I might use. So we've got C, G, A minor, D minor, E minor. Okay, and E minor wants to go to F, wants to go to G, and then it finishes. Now, so these are chords that probably hundreds of thousands of pieces of music. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We haven't got time to try and find a new scale system or anything. It's like, yeah. So we've got 6 chords. So we've got C, F, G major, A minor, D minor, E minor. There's lots of things we could do. We're going to go with that for the moment, okay? So what I would like, and this is a way of taking risks. If you have a set of chords, we're going to start on C major, and I'm going to pick one of you, and you're going to just give me a number between 2 and 6. That's it. Ross Johnson, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Give me a number between 2 and 6.
4.
4. Excellent. Debbie Neath, give me a number between 1 and 6.
2.
2. Okay, that's okay for the moment. That means we're going from C to F major down to D minor. That's now this you can therefore tell this is not Blue Peter, which is like here's one I made earlier. I did not have a conversation with Ross Johnson, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, or Debbie before this session. So we've got C, F major, D minor. Okay, so I quite like that. C, F to D minor. Not a problem at all. Okay, now here is often, so we've got C, F, D minor. Now I'm going to choose the next chord, which is G, because G takes us back to C. Okay, so I'll play you that and you can kind of feel it. Music is magnetic. So this is the kind of where I say to the kids, like, do a G. Do a G now. Do a G, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it, sir?" I'm like, yes, it does. It's a G because it moves yourself back to the C. So have a listen to that. This is our first 4 chords: C, F major, D minor, G. And I did a pretentious 4/3 suspension in case you're wondering. I'm not doing a passing 7 at the moment. But I am going to do that 4/3 suspension because it just sounds right. So I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but that chord 5 just has lots of energy to it. This is going to be, I think I've decided it's going to end up being quite a cheesy pop song, but well, such is the way. Right, I'm going to press the clicky thing and I'm going to play and I'm going to do that chord sequence a couple of times. All right, here we go. Told you, not a good piano player. Okay, so now that is our chord sequence. I'm going to turn the click off in a second and just play it to you. Now, because I might have not got perfect tempo, the good thing about using computers is they'll put everything in time for you. So if I press a little button, it's now put it in time with the beat. And I'll turn that off. And not surprisingly, we have an 8-bar phrase. Because phrases want to be relatively balanced in this. I'm not going to go for anything crazy. So here's our first chord sequence, which is basically our intro, and then we're going to start adding some lyrics. Here's our first little bit. You hear that okay? Okay, we happy enough with that? Say yes. Excellent, thank you. Because if you weren't, I wasn't going to do anything else at this point because you chose the chords. So, now at that point, we know already you can tell that there's going to be a new set of chords. However, that is now our intro. So that's now our intro. We just use the first 4 chords as an intro. There's other things you can do, but we're not going to over worry about that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is, because we have there, what I might do, yes, or will I? No, I won't at the moment. That's too pretentious. I'll do that I'll do that before the end. So we've now got an intro, and I'll just do that in red. And we've got a versey bit, or at least half a verse, which is in green. Do we want to keep it as a piano, or do we add any extra instruments at this point? I love the fact that people are nodding, but having not given me a specification of which one. So who wants extra instruments? Put your hand up. Who wants just piano at the moment? Cool. Just piano at the moment wins it. Excellent. We might add something later on, but let's go with it. Okay. So, by the way, if you're wondering what I was doing in my settings, because I haven't got a pedal for my piano at the moment here, I've just added a little bit of release so that the piano notes go on a little bit. So it just gives a little bit of what's called sustain. I don't have a pedal at the moment in here, so sometimes you'd hold that piano pedal down to give the chords a little bit more, like, longevity. I haven't got that. So, let's have a listen, and let's start trying to think about some melody stuff to do with lyrics. Here we go. Yeah, there's already there's already quite a lot of ideas in the brain now. So the good thing about sometimes if you come up with a certain chord sequence, it will drive you into working out what type of lyrics that we've already had we want to go with. Now the next thing, okay, is how I do things, and you might do things differently, but it's Marbleman session, so I'll do the direction I want, which is usually I kind of, when I'm looking to this kind of stuff, writing lyrics, I'll usually harmonize, like sing something as like la-las or doo-doos or some kind of sound, even just to like musical scat over the top of a piano part. Okay? Just because sometimes, and actually sometimes, I'll provide sound. I'll think that I want a certain vowel sound or a certain word will pop in my head. This sometimes takes a while, so you're going to be watching it, and I haven't done this in a while because normally I a cappella, but I've got my microphone, and I'm basically going to go la la doo doo over the top of this. This is not the final version. Don't judge, be kind. Okay? So, having listened to that chord sequence, I'm going to start singing on the green bit. And I'm just going to la la doo doo, and then you can tell me how bad it is. Okay? Or if there's parts of that you like. Because this is where you get your little ostinato, little riffy things, or something in which you can base the whole song on if you come up with a good one. Okay? Here we go. So listen and think. Think where you'd go with this. Here we go. So I've got an idea there. Now, having done like that, you just kind of sing stuff. Now, you probably singing along something slightly different, but this is just, you just listen, you kind of hum like Lara or hum with all the pieces of music you ever listened to. I'm going to record something very quickly, and then we'll see how terrible it is. Here we go. 1 second. I forgot to record. Okay, so there is an initial melody. Again, could I do better? Of course I could. Am I going to beat myself up and delete it? No, because we're being kind. So, here we go. One sec, I'm just going to turn things around. Okay, so Now is words. So we have an initial kind of general melodic idea. I don't have to hold too far to that, but we're kind of thinking in my voice here, because I'm kind of like dum bum 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 bum, kind of in that kind of neck of the woods. Not pushing it too high, pushing it too low, doing anything crazy. Again, it's what comes into the brain. So now the thought here is, let's think of some words. Now I'm just going to scroll back up again, and let's just pick some of your words, and we'll basically put them in. 1 second. Rach. In fact, Rach, so we know this isn't pre-done, could you find a lyric that you like, it can be yours if you want, that's already been mentioned, and can you just pick it and we'll fit it into this first section? And we'll go from there.
I've got to go quite a way back here.
I know, because people are using the chat. Debbie's furious.
I know, it's very naughty. Oh, crikey. Oh, we've had so much chat. Oh, God. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. I've got to be quick.
There's no worries. There's no rush.
Oh, I like 1 foot in front of the other. I like that.
1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's just start. Now, you can all start writing these things down as well. So that is our entry lyric. Okay? I've got my paper, my scrap paper, and I'm going to write that down. So you say 1 foot in front of the other?
That was it. Oh, there's some good ones. Is that all you want for now?
So 1 foot in front of the other. Now this, again, I'm being very quick on this. When I would look at a lyric, if you think we've now got some kind of rhythm. So we've got da 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 da. Because 1 is like, if you wouldn't go 1, it's for what I hear is with that piano part is 1 foot in front of the other. Does that make sense? That's the rhythm that I hear when I say that, or not? Rhiannon, what you got? What rhythm do you want?
1 foot in front of the other, or 1 foot in front of the
Either
one. 1 foot in front of the other.
Okay, we'll do that.
Do you need more words, Simon, at the moment?
Let me just quickly sing over that and that rhythm with that kind of general tune, because I got the kind of tune kind of there that existed previously, and I'll go with Rhiannon's rhythm. So give me 2 seconds and let's sing it in. Here we go. 1 foot in front of the other. Was that all right? Kind of what you're thinking? Yeah? Cool. Again, it's in my vocal range, but we'll go with that. So that's our first line. What next? Rach, or anyone else, if you think you've got a line to follow 1 foot in front of the other, then Rachel is now the arbiter of success. Rhiannon Owens Hall.
Hopefully looking forward.
Hopefully looking for...
Or we can find our way.
Okay. Well, go get 1 second.
I've got a nice one to follow on from that as well, from somebody.
I quite like. I'm going to go with. So it's very communal. I'm going to go with "We Can Find Our Way." So 1 foot in front of the other. We can find our way. What's the next line, Rachel?
Got a rhyme for that one. Seeing the light of each new day.
Right. That can be our fourth line.
Gosh.
Because obviously, again, if we're gonna rhyme, we want to rhyme line 2 and line 4, which means line 3 for me is not gonna rhyme with line 1. Otherwise, we get into that rhyming pattern where everything has to rhyme, and I don't like that. So what's that last line again, Rich Watson?
Seeing the light of each new day.
Seeing the light of. Can we have a brand new day, as opposed to each day? Can I have brand new, please?
Executive decisions.
I like executive decisions. I like brand new because I quite like the word brand new day. It'll be brand new because I don't sing D's.
Yeah, I like that. Did you say have you got a line 3 or did you need a line?
So we've got 1 foot in front of the other. We can find our way. Seeing the light of a brand new day. So what's our third line? Anyone got their idea on what we can fit? John Wanless.
The journey begins.
Ooh, the journey begins. 1 foot in front of the other. We can find our way.
Singing together across the world.
Okay. John's not quite enough syllables. Singing together across the world is probably more of a fourth. Again, this is, by the way, this is not that any of these ideas are not good. They are. It's trying to pull it in in like quick succession. So please, if I end up going sideways and something, it is not saying that your ideas are not really good. It's just I'm mindful that we're 45 minutes and we're halfway. We do have a beginning chord sequence, an idea and some lyrics and a beginning melody. This is where we then start making jumps. So one foot in front of the other, we can find our way. Da 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 da. I don't want more really.
We will
Sorry.
walk through this
Okay, one second. Okay, etiquette is raise your hands. Rachel will decide who speaks.
Oh Lord. Rosemary, as the first hand I saw.
All right. If you do one foot in front of the other,
Yeah.
we can find our way. Hopefully, looking forward, seeing the light of a brand new day.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna sing that, and then we can say if there's any rhythmic changes that we want. Is that okay with everyone? Excellent. Okay, so again, this is artificially quick, but obviously there is like 28 of us, so that you wouldn't normally write with 28 people simultaneously. So this is why I'm trying to be slightly quick, and again, not ignoring any ideas. So ideas are all great, and we're just kind of going with what we've got. Okay, just let me do a little bit of singing. 1 sec. I didn't press record. Here we go. One foot in front of the other, we can find our way. Hopefully looking for... That was bloody awful. Hopefully is not an easy one to sing, but let me just add in hopefully again. I can do it if I was not such an idiot. Here we go.
Could you maybe do hoping to?
Oh, sorry, Rachel, what?
Maybe do hoping to instead of hopefully. It might scan easier. More easily. I can't even speak now.
I'll try it. I think it was just my poor sense of rhythm there. Hopefully looking forward, seeing the night. Seeing the night? I'm not seeing the night, am I? I'm seeing the light. I'm seeing the night. We're going a very
What about
vampiric
forgetting the hurt
way.
of yesterday?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Sorry, what?
What about forgetting the hurt of yesterday?
We've got a line already, but we'll come to that in a minute, Mike, okay?
Okay.
Right, 1 sec. Hopefully looking forward, seeing the night of a brand new day. Seeing the light, idiot. I'm not being very kind to myself, but I should be able to read a lyric on a piece of paper. Who knew? Here we go. I'll just do that last little bit there. Seeing the light of a brand new day. We okay with that, generally speaking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having a slight debate about hopefully. We're not sure. It's I don't know. It just sounds a bit
It's
weird.
not an easy. It's not an easy lyric to sing because you got hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm
with
not,
that
again,
rhythm, it's kind of
with that rhythm, yeah. Any other rhythms that we could do with that? This is where we do this is where we be kind, but then if there is something that just snaps out, then hands up. Tell me who's speaking, Rachel.
I've got a Jodie. You're the first one I've seen. There we go.
How about instead of hopefully put wanting to?
Oh yeah.
I have an idea. What about
just 1 second? Just bear with me a second, Marilyn. That one, Jodie. Just looking at how it scans, because wanting, because then you'd go wanting. Because we've gone 1 foot, we need something which works as a kind of long in the kind of pattern. If we're going with that kind of general melody idea, so
works.
I don't know. I think
other hand, Marilyn. You
Yes.
next.
what about hoping and looking forward?
Hoping could work.
Yep.
Hoping and looking forward could work. Rachel, who else is speaking?
We've got Aviva.
If you want to use hope, what about hopeful and looking forward? If you're married to those words, hopeful.
Oh, hopeful and looking forward means it's basically the same lyric, just a slight change. Yeah, we
Yeah.
get rid of a syllable.
Smashed it.
So hopeful and
Smashed it.
hopefully, yeah, hopeful and looking. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes
Yeah,
a lot more
excellent. Let's try that. But again, just these are the things we do quickly. So yeah, so again, if your ideas have not gone down, it's not because they weren't good. It's just because we're doing this in artificial circumstances.
Simon,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I have another idea with the hopeful. If you want it moving forward, it might be too early to do this, but what if you do rest hopeful and looking forward?
Oh, so
Changing it up, moving forward, that might be
hopeful.
fun.
Hopeful. Yeah, I can try that. Here we go. Hopeful and looking forward. Like that, you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. That does
Simon?
mean I'm going to have to add some drums at some point later on.
Simon, that line comes back into them, forgetting yesterday. We once felt yesterday. What do you think?
Yeah,
Right?
but we've got that line already. We
Yeah.
can have that line later because we're
Coming
going
together?
we can't have it together because we've come to the end of this. We've come to the end of this section of the verse yet, but we'll come back to that. So that's cool. But again, just yeah, we'll come back to that. Right, let's just have a listen to what we've got. Now, at this point, we'll listen to what we've got. It's always important, in my opinion, to listen to what you've got and to add reverb. Just to let you know, got to add reverb. If you don't add reverb, then the world's going to end. Let me use reverb 70%. Okay, just gives it a little bit more kind of like it doesn't sound so dry. Sometimes if you don't have reverb to your sound, it sounds a little bit naff in the nicest possible way. Oh no, that's annoying. Sorry, 1 second, folks. Sorry, my Zoom window's gone to an incredibly weird shape. There we go. Right, let's have a listen. Can you hear that okay? Why is that so quiet? Oh, it's because it was quiet. Sorry, I thought my microphone was really loud, but it's just because I had that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's normalize it, and then we'll hear it. Oh, that's better. Sorry, I'd accidentally turned up a little setting, which makes my microphone sound look like it was a lot louder than it was. Here we go. Rachel, you were doing some hand signals there.
Yeah, I'm just getting excited about harmonies. That's all.
Oh yeah, no. Well, let's
Later.
move onwards. Let's move onwards to our next little section. Now, there's a couple of things we can do here, folks. We can either copy and paste the exact same chords. Okay, so because we're in our first verse, we could repeat those prevailing chords one more time before moving it into another section, which probably in this juncture would be a wise thing. I don't think I'm bored of that chord sequence in the song yet, so I'm going to make the executive decision to do that. It also brings in the opportunity to then have the same basic set of lyrical ideas, but we do the second lot of that. So we've got one foot in front of the other, we can find our way, hopeful and looking forward, seeing the light of a brand new day. And we want to generally use the same kind of syllable rhyming scheme because it's the same chords. So if you think about that kind of, I'm going to play you that one more time, and I'd like you to do a new set of lyrical stuff and put it in the chat so that Rachel can do her arbiter of quality or just picking random things and just kind of go from that. So I'm just going to play it again, and I'll play the chord sequence on its own afterwards, and you can just maybe think what other ideas, what visual images you want to be giving out in the next section. Okay? I'll do the same thing, but again, I want to give you as much opportunity as you can. Here we go. We're so going into E minor at the end of that. Sorry. Thinking some ideas. Rhiannon's looking very animated, Rhiannon. What were you thinking, Rhett? Or were you just saying, this is terrible, I could do better than this on my day off?
Not at all. I just think that because we've had that introduction with those chord sequences and the chord sequences under the words, I think we're already moving towards that E minor chord there in that section. But that's
Dear.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There are some nice lyrics coming through.
There are some fabulous lyrics coming
Let
through.
me have a look. Here we
It's
go.
all going upwards. It's this happy trajectory. I'm liking it.
Good. And this is the thing. Sometimes songs can be self-feeding. All you need is a couple of ideas and a little bit of a fragment, and suddenly you're like, the world of opportunities opens. And then the thing will be, what do you do with the world of opportunities? If you see what I mean. Really, it's that. So, Rach, what's our thoughts at the moment? So we've got feeling the light of a brand new day. What are you liking?
For the start of the next verse.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Debbie Clarnice. Sunshine just calling us onwards. I love that line as a beginning of a verse. I think that's gorgeous.
Okay, and I'm going to listen to Rhiannon about the E minor section, actually. Okay. Now, as you're looking through ideas, I'm just going to say to everyone, in my head, I quite like... Well, here we go. One sec. Just move my table. I'm getting excited now. You can tell I'm getting all kind of like, ooh, ideas. So, Sunshine is moving like whatever it is. 1 second. Have a listen.
Although we have just had sunlight, so sunshine might... But it's a lovely line.
Oh, I've used a secondary dominant. That was so dirty. Just to quickly explain something. What I'm wanting at the moment, because if we go even to E minor, yeah, we're in E minor. So to the F, okay. Now to me, I like to go back. Again, this is you don't have to agree. Doesn't mean I won't do it. So E minor, and then do you see what I mean? Do you see where I'm going? Because then you're into a little A minor section, because that's going to take you back round again to C. So for me, I could hear E minor to F major, C major, G sus4, and then that, which is E major, because E major, in its first inversion, moves to A minor, Now, can you tell how that kind of sounds right? Now, I could go through and we could do random choosing. Am I okay to do that chord sequence that I heard in my head? Because it also means we can look at lyrics and stuff like that and make sure with timing. Is that okay, everyone? I did not pre-write those chords, but to me, moving to E minor seems nice. So if any of you thinking, oh, I would have used a different chord, well, hopefully this will spur you on to doing just that. Okay? Yeah? So, obviously, you might want to get 27 other people in a Zoom room to do that if you want to, because it's going well so far. I'm just going to play this chord sequence, and then we'll move on from there, and we'll have some more of those lyrical ideas with Debbie's Sunshine one. Rachel, make sure you're going through. If you want to actually, Rachel, if you want to put some of those lines and actually give me the next verse, then feel free to be picking and choosing that, please, Rachel, if you want to. Here we go, and keep on putting your stuff in the chat. I'm not reading it all at the moment, but just let me play the piano part and I'll be with you in a second. That's not quite right. Okay. It's a bit stompy, but that's my piano playing style. I can't change having heavy hands. There we go. It's a good job none of you are watching my piano finger work. It's woeful. There we go. Although I've never claimed to be a piano player. Okay. So we have a little bit of a chord sequence. Kath Tyler, you have your hand up, my love.
I was just going to say that some of the lyrics are a bit darker, and it's not particularly my idea, but I think it's a really good one. Several people have mentioned it, that these slightly darker lyrics can go with this E minor section, and then we can go back to another brightly hopeful bit for the presumably what will be the last verse, because I don't think we're going to have a lot more time. But,
ooh, you never know. You never know.
Oh,
you never know. Well, we'll see what Rachel come up. Oh, Mike, you've also got your hand up.
I've picked upbeat stuff.
That's okay. No. Go with what you picked for Rachel. We can go. Thing is, we're pushing into E minor, but we're still really strongly in C because I keep on moving back to those primary chords around C. So although we've got E minor, we go straight to F major, to C major, to G major. So we get a little bit of like pastel shade of E minor, but then it really goes back to chord 1-4-5 tonic subdominant dominant kind of push. And even then, we haven't got, again, we got a little bit of A minor, but again, resolves straight down to F again. So we've not got, it's not a chord change. It's not a minor section as such. If we did that, probably we'd move to A minor, I would imagine, do something a little bit more dark at that point. What you got, Rachel?
Right, it's kind of a mishmash of lots of bits of...
Oh, that's cool, because that's, you know, we're not going to get consensus, but we will get something that's based upon what everyone's saying. Oh, sorry, Mike, you had your hand up, mate. But it's been up for a while, but wasn't sure if you just forgot to put it down. Or what is it?
Well, there's a different bit where if you're going to change it up later on, I say we can overcome anything that life throws our way. Nothing can divide us, come what may. We are strong. We can survive this day.
Put all of that in the chat, and I quite like that, mate. We'll have a look if we can put it. Yeah, is it in there? Excellent, cool, excellent. We'll have a look at that. Quite like that. It's good. Rachel, what we got? Give me some lines.
Right, we might have to squidge some syllables, but we've got meet. Oh God, I can't even read my own writing. Meeting the light, calling us onwards. All is ours to see. The day you came and held my hand, the day just me became we.
Ooh, did you just bin Debbie's lyric then?
No, because I needed that calling us onwards, but rather than having the sunshine, because we've just had sunlight. Didn't want to repeat the sunshine thing.
Too much sunlight.
I calling us onwards. That was gorgeous.
Yeah,
I wanted that.
Could you tell me again so I can write it down.
Meeting the light, calling us onwards. When you can squidge any of this or change it.
Meeting the light, calling us onwards. Yeah.
I had all is ours to take, but I couldn't figure out a nice rhyme for take because all I can think of is take. So I said all is ours to see. The day you came to hold and held my hand, or to hold my hand. The day just me became we. If that makes any sense. It isn't just cheesy nonsense.
My hand.
I mean, literally just scribbled that down in a big old mess. So.
I might say when me became we rather than having the day twice.
Oh yeah, good shout.
Do you see what I mean? Because again, having the day and then the day. So again, also it gives me a chance of extending the e's on me and we. Again, especially you've got some harmonic things there. So next section, let's just basically sing some stuff with some ideas on that. I'll do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to sing with some of those words and just kind of fit it in. Vocal kind of leading and stuff. You'll just have to be with me. And yeah, so it does sound like a wedding song. You're 100% correct. Yeah, we're writing a wedding song. We can sell it to people. You're getting married. You can pay us, and we'll share the copyright royalties, folks. We'll share it 28 ways. It's like when Ed Sheeran writes a hit song. He has to share it like 20 other people who wrote the song for him. So there you go. Here we go. Let's just let's have a listen and sing along. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I might do an executive decision. You'll see why in a second, Rachel. Okay? Meeting the light, calling us onward. All is ours to see when me became we. I need to change my chord sequence there. You see what I mean? The third line, I quite like the meeting the la calling us onwards, but then it means it's a 3-line verse, not a 4-line verse. Just let me do that one more time. Meeting the light, calling us onward. All is ours to see when me became me. I'm going to go with that for the moment, although I had the click on, so it might well pick the bloody click up on my microphone, but I'm mindful of time, so I'm going to make some more executive decisions. Right, let's have a listen. Please feel free to make comments. I can't guarantee to change it, because I want to move into a chorus, because you haven't done a bloody chorus yet, and we need to get the chorus done, at least. Okay? Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to the whole verse so far. We're pushing into a chorus after that, I think. Can you hear okay? We. Sorry, I'm just getting annoyed with my inability to read. Cool. Yeah, there's lots of harmonies in that little. The E is basically where 100% there'd be at least one, if not two, in my brain. There'd be harmonies. So, just give me 2 seconds. We, Simon, we. Idiot. Okay, no, 1 second. I just need to sing the word we again. Give me 1 second. I didn't even press record. We. Okay.
Kath's got a good point about a tense change as well. Rather than, because we've got it in past tense, me became we. Because I can't remember what the bit before was. If we're talking about future stuff, it needs to be becomes, not became.
Yes, we're looking to the future. We're moving forward, so it should be when me becomes we, not became. That's in the past.
Yeah, that's the difficult bit when you're doing it in bits like this. It's kind of like, hang on, what went before?
I'm thinking. I'm going to keep it for the moment, but we know that we can change tense if we needed to, because otherwise I have to sing that section again.
Yeah.
So at this point, we need... I don't think that was the chorus in my head. So I think... Does that make sense? Because I don't think that wasn't the chorus. You can't have a chorus with doing that. So the thought is, where do we go now? Chorus, chorus, chorus.
Chorus, bridge, chorus, chorus.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying we do chorus, chorus, chorus in a row. That would be a very cheeky way of trying to finish a song.
Middle eight.
Okie doke. So what are we on? 7:30. Yeah. So we got 22 minutes left. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So what I'm going to say at this point is, see, if this and this is this was me at this point, I would do more instrumentation. I would do something else that direction from there. So I, in honesty, would add, and I'm going to do it, so you'll just have to bear with me on this. There needs to be some kind of what's that, Rach?
Strings.
Well, yeah, could potentially strings. It could be strings.
Horn section.
1 second. Yeah, a full horn section. Yeah. 1 sec. I want to actually initially put just some nice. I basically want to put a drum kit in, but nothing major. But I want to again. I just need a little bit of some kind of because it's a pop song and it just needs something at the moment. So you'll just have to forgive me.
You just made me so happy, Simon.
It needs it, in my opinion. So apologies if you're like, I hate drums. It's Communal, and I'm in charge. So that's the kind of communal composition we're talking about now. Bear with me for a second.
Couple it with a West Lifestyle key change.
Yeah, I kind of have an idea about what I want. Just going to be very simple. Nothing too thing. I need something.
Simon, do you like this?
Sorry, I heard something. What?
Do you like this? Where once everything was so.
Oh, Mike, just just 1 sec. We just need to put a drum part in. Give me a second, mate, on lyrics. We're not doing the lyric bit at the moment. Just give me a sec, mate. Okay, I just need to put some drums in. Cheers, mate. Oh, I muted my own bloody drum part. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, now I need to see the hi-hat and then I'm there. This is excessively quick, so there's a couple of things I want to change there, but I don't have time, so just bear with me. I just need to add a hi-hat. Give me a second. Glue that together. Okay. Nothing crazy with the drum part. It's just, it's a pop song. So a pop song needs something like that at the moment. So hopefully that's giving you time to have a think. So the next thing is chorus. Let me just have a look in the chat. So chorus. We need to, because I don't think we've got time to change. I don't want to change key, so in fact, actually, no, we don't actually, because that ending doesn't work itself into a chorus. That works itself into something different, doesn't it? That's an interesting one. It kind of pushes it into a slightly different place. Let me just quickly read the chat. 1 sec. I agree, Susan Campbell. Me and we would enable to need be enunciated. Is that a nice way of saying that I'm a little bit slack with my addiction? It's okay. I don't mind that. Words in the second verse were meeting the light, calling us onwards. All is ours to see. when me became or becomes dependent, we. Which I like. It's generalised, but it's specific enough. 1 second. Just reading through there.
Yeah, what kind of chorus do we want?
Well, I think at that point, actually,
or...
it probably, I think with what we did there, actually, with the extended hold on of chord 5, just to explain what the reason is, we've already finished on a C chord, so we've already finished. Officially, we have finished on the C chord, so we've got this like extended, like G major chord that then resolves itself, and it's on for twice as long as usual. So you've got. And actually, I quite like the silence of just the voice, okay? But then really, it probably moves itself back to a verse, actually, then. So actually, I think for the moment, Rachel, we've managed to do a song which doesn't necessarily have an exact chorus at the moment, but I'm going to go with it. We either... Oh, now I'm second-guessing myself. I think a chorus doesn't fit. So you could have a... Probably you're going to go back into a verse. However, let me just change it up slightly. I'm going to make my executive decision is we take the verse, but I'm just going to put the whole thing up an octave. So just give me a second. Rhiannon, you okay?
Yeah, I was just humming a chord sequence in my head. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So all I've done is at the moment is put the piano part an octave higher to give a little bit of lightness. So if you just kind of have a listen to that, you'll see what I mean. So hence it just something, okay? Because that's the thing. If you change where something is like that, and actually I can also take down the volume of that, which will give it a little bit more of a gentle feel. We okay with that? Because then we get the ability to push into a verse, but it'll be different because the pitch has changed and that has changed. Aviva has a hand up, and then Michael has his hand up. Aviva.
Can you extend "we" just a little bit longer? It sounds like it cuts off too fast.
Yes, because I've put that thing in there. Yes, I can.
Yeah, it needs to fill that gap, doesn't it?
1 sec. I'll cheat and use time stretch. I won't re-sing it for time. So let's try. Better? Yeah, Aviva? Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, Simon, like I said, you said about chorus, but I was thinking maybe you could, even what you've just said, you could actually fade out with that. You could say, well, once everything was so unclear, now everything seems so sure. Since the day you came into my life, everything has changed. I'm not the man I was before, the day before I knew you. Or you could have, April said something else. Where did she say? She said about me changing that. And I've got to find it down here in the chat. I didn't respond to that. Just bear with me a moment.
Which bit are you meaning in this verse?
Well, you said
is this verse?
You said you didn't want a chorus, right? And I was thinking.
No. We are in another verse. So just
okay.
Give me Just give me those lyrics again, mate.
Yeah, okay. Right,
you just gave me one go, and I was trying to kind of hear them, if you know what I mean. No worries. Just what's your first line of that one?
Right, where are we? That's not the right bit. I've got to find the right bit now. Sorry.
No worries.
Right.
Is it the where once everything was so unclear? Is it that one?
Where is that?
I've got it here.
People said about change it slightly, so I've got two variations on that if I can find it.
If you found it, Rach, if you just want to repaste it so I can just sit, because I can read it off the screen and sing, because I am mindful of time, so I want to
There it is. Where once everything was so unclear, now everything seems so sure. Since the day you came into my life, everything has changed. I am not the man I was before, the day before I knew you. I've got that version, and there's another, if Rachel can find it.
I just pasted. I just pasted it in again
because it was gender neutral then, wasn't it? I'm not the person I was before.
That's a little bit
what I was before, something like that.
If you change, I am not who I was before the day I met you, Michael. I copied it and pasted it at the end of the chat.
If you change, I'm who I was before the day I met you.
Yep.
Yeah, Rachel, could you put that into one lyric in the chat and then just pop it in for me?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And then I'll just go with. Now, what we're doing here, folks, is make this time. So again, we want to get as many ideas as possible. So so I want to get as much done as we can. Okay, so we have a lyric. Excellent. Let's have a look at the lyric. Now, all I'm going to do now is getting back to what we did before. Play and listen. Okay. Because we've changed the piano part's octave, it's going to feel different. So it won't be necessary that do exactly the same tune, exactly the same way will work. And again, we've got to be open to different things. So I'll kind of have a listen. All of you can have a listen, see how you would phrase those words. Okay? Because they're nice, good words. Let's have a little listen. Now, interestingly enough, I think with that length of there, we're not going to fit all those words into that section. No. I couldn't find a way of getting that to fit in. That doesn't mean they don't get used. That means you're definitely not going to fit in that into that standard set of chords, which probably means you either can go back in to your E minor section as it was the octave down if you're going to push through that message, or you could take the same chords back down the octave, reintroduce things like drums or other instrumentation to push through that lyrics. I'm just going to listen through that. We're just going to listen to that again, and I'm going to see how many of those lyrics that are down there seems to lend itself to this section of the song. Does that make sense? And there's also a couple of ones where there seems to possibly be a couple too many syllables for a singable line. So it might just be lopping off an A or a we or a the, or just kind of just having a listen. So have a listen, see what you think. This is always a listening. Oh,
are you able to turn the voice volume up a bit more, please?
How do you mean the voice? I haven't sung anything. There isn't a voice on that piano part at all yet.
No, but what you have recorded, it cannot be turned up. It seems to be more in the background, and the piano is in the foreground.
I can. Yeah, give me a sec. Let me know if this is better.
Thank you.
How many of the lyrics do you think we fit in there? Depends on what you're all hearing.
I think the last bit, the day before I knew you, just doesn't fit in there at all. That might have to be in the next section or something. We could probably condense the rest of it a little bit.
Now, the reason is, just initially, the reason there's an interesting thing is, I would say that once would be the downbeat. Because if you said where once everything was so unclear, yeah, it's like once is where, for me anyway, so this is just why, again, just to explain kind of the thought process here, because where doesn't seem like a strong beat. It doesn't seem you're going where once everything. It's like if you went through, you'd go where once everything was so unclear, and once seems to be there where the rhythm goes. So that therefore would probably mean you could either then shorten back out the we because you might have to go where once everything was so unclear, so you'd have to be hitting the once is a possibility.
Take out the second everything.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you wait,
like
just to let you all know, if you wait, then you have to wait for the chords to go in again. And then you're losing probably like half a bar of time to wait until it feels like the word where can come in. So it might be that the where would be in like an upbeat.
Where would you?
Where once everything.
Okay.
Where once everything was so unclear, now everything seems so sure. So that therefore seems like a line.
I don't know if that quite fits, does it? Now everything, and we've got a duplication of everything as well.
Yeah. So once everything was so unclear, once everything was so unclear, now I'd say you say
so.
Now it all seems so unsure.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you're right, Avi. There's again. Let me just have a look at that. So 1 second. Well, everything. I'm just thinking, I'm just reading through you're probably doing the same, reading through the lyrics and trying to find them as an internal poem. So, and in fact, everything actually probably missing out, as someone said, missing out the word where, you could still, again, the ev still comes in the beat. You'd go once everything. So you could go where once everything or where everything. Actually, where everything still seems better, but where once would then be the upbeat. Once everything was so unclear. Now, because you just want to say nothing, but you can't say nothing seems so sure because that wouldn't make any sense. But once everything was so unclear, once everything was so unclear, now unless you just go quick on the everything. So you again, this is just coming up with some thoughts to get moving forwards. Is if you went once everything was so unclear, now everything seems so sure. By the difference in the timing of everything, you might get away with having everything twice in a line. I'm just reading the chat. 1 second. Ooh, now life seems so sure. Okay, that could work. But just make sure.
It all seems so sure.
Mike, you just need 1 second, Mike. If you just make sure you mute yourself, because everyone else is muting and putting their hands up, but having yourself unmuted just means you keep on. Because Debbie, a couple of people have got their hands up. So Debbie, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I don't think we need both of the first two lines, because we've talked about moving forward, so we don't need everything was unclear and now it's all right. You can drop one of them.
Okay, give me an alternative.
Well, you could go from where once everything was so unclear, since the day you came into my life everything's changed. You miss the second line out, or just go from everything seems so sure. It's taken for granted that we've moved out of dark times, so you almost don't need to say it.
I can understand that. Otherwise, you are potentially treading over old ground, aren't you? There's a repetition of a message we've already used. Yeah, so I'm just reading the chat. 1 second. So everything seems so sure. Stay you. I'm going to say since the day you walked into my life for the moment, just because I've got a thought. Let me do a little bit of singing. Now, whoa. Sorry, I pressed it with my belly. It's the negative thing of having a belly which goes onto your desk, which is sometimes you press play or record just by the size of your own stomach. But there you go. I did have a McDonald's before this, so my apologies. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of singing now. So I'm going to sing this next little bit because I'm mindful that I want to get a little bit more done. And I also want to go through, and again, we've got to add some harmonies because I have to add a bit of harmony before we finish, because otherwise I'll feel bad. So just bear with me, and we'll just go through this next little session. Okay, here we go. Let me just listen to something. 1 second, I'm coming up with a thought. Bear with me. Okay, cool. So, I was just thinking. Okay, let me just put that back on. Okay, I'm going to sing something now, and I'm going to do what we can with this section, because then I actually want to do some harmonies and then move onwards from that bit there. Okay? Okay. Come on, brain. Okay, sorry. Because Rhiannon's got a hand up. I just saw that. You're on mute, Rhiannon. Hey.
Is it absolutely definite that you're doing another repeat chorus?
No, what are you thinking?
I just wonder whether we couldn't get something which is quite sudden after you've got the me, and go into a big major 7/3/7 chord or something that just changes the tonality, and we've got like a chord, and then everything's changed.
Yeah. So what?
Bring some drama into it, rather than the repetition.
Give me what chord? What are you thinking?
E major 7.
1 sec.
It may not work. I've no idea, but 5. And you could have a transition to get into that.
Yeah.
E major, E minor, E major 7. Did you play E major or E minor then?
E major. 1 sec. Just let me turn it up. 1 sec.
Change and yada.
Okay, so E7, E major 7. Okay.
Yeah. That's a real tone change. Yeah, because maybe this quieter section would work later on as a bridgey bit, which makes it even more Evan Hansen.
As a bridgey bit, as you said, yeah.
A bridgey bit. That's clearly my superior musical knowledge.
So after the wee react, just so I know I'm not doing the wrong thing from that. When you got the wee.
Yeah.
Wee on its own.
2, 3, 4. Chord and yeah.
What chord would go before the E7 then?
How about A7? No, that's not an A7. It needs a pivot chord to get into that E7. Otherwise, it's just very dark and repetitious. It just needs to lift and then go into another section.
Yeah. I agree. It's looking what chord to use at that point. 1 sec. So
Aviva wants more drums.
That's a minor chord, isn't it?
Yeah, because you could use E major. You could use E major to get into A minor. Because if you lift it up, it could. So you could. This is only just off. Because if you went that C major, you then went
E minor. an A minor, and then went to A major, and then A major.
Yeah. So you could. Yeah.
At the risk of interrupting the creative flow, we have hit 6 o'clock.
What time were we supposed to finish?
It was an hour and a half, wasn't it? So 6 o'clock.
Bloody hell, has that time gone by?
I know.
Bloody hell. Okay, so what I'm going to say to all of you, because I was, it's a problem. You get really invested and time flies. Now, what I want to go from here is it's interesting that what I would do with this at this point, just to go through like the finished bit. So just give me like 5 minutes to go through. What it's clear is that with 28 people, there's loads of ideas, and you get to points of and this is on your own or with others. You get to points of quick progress, and you get to points of the what next, and that's exactly what we've reached here. We've reached a what next. We've managed to get a chord sequence, managed to get a melody, managed to get a general sense of where you're going, but then it's a what next. Now, often what I would do is when you hit a what next, and this is always what I told my students to do, and again, I don't probably follow my guidance as much as I should, which is actually go and do something completely different. And I mean, musically speaking, often to actually go and I would often tell them to compose 2 pieces of music, completely different pieces of music, because almost you can then refresh your brain by actually kind of pasting over all the kind of ideas you had in your head, and actually it's useful when you do something that contrast. So whilst in compositions you want contrast, actually when you reach a point when you think, where do I go now, and you've come up with a few ideas and you're not quite sure, where there's that kind of that, what am I doing? And this is the point in the song where you might go and it never gets finished. So what I'd always tell my students, and myself as well, is to actually take a step, and if you're going to compose something, do something else before you go back to it. And oddly enough, when you go and do something else completely different, so if it's instrumental, you go and do a cappella, or if it's upbeat, you go and do something depressingly sad, or vice versa, or whatever it is, or even then go and listen to a type of music which is the absolute antithesis of what it is you were creating, because actually it almost like it cleans the windows of your brain a little bit, and actually means that when you come back and sit down, clarity of editing and refinement, because it's very rare you'll sit down and write a brand new original song in one sitting without having to get to a point where you go, what next? You always get to that point. Sometimes it happens quicker than usual, and again, we've done relatively well here with that. So that would be probably the thing I'd next do. I'd probably go off and write something completely different, okay, even if that's going to do something silly. So with this, I would often go and or even probably in the same bloody project, knowing me, I'd end up going off on a tangent and writing some kind of doobie random a cappella tag, which is kind of jazzy and whatever, because it's nothing like what I've done, but almost then it gives me it just spring cleans the brain from musical ideas, and then when you come back, you're a little bit freer to make those jumps, and you don't get backed into a corner of frustration, if that makes sense. So I am perfectly happy to open this up and say that I don't mind doing another one of these. I honestly don't. I would quite like to see that through. And again, I don't mind sending that out emailing it out to all of you, what we've got so far, and then we can spend a little bit of time thinking. And I don't mind trying to find a time with all of you when we can do a similar kind of thing. Would that be useful? Yeah, because it would be nice to see that through and actually then have those conversations and then do those things. So, and again, there'll probably be things that I would do, things that you would do. It'd be quite nice to go through that, okay? It has been a really, really interesting session. And again, you kind of see a process. Obviously, process is always a bit slower with 28 people than it is maybe with 1 or 2. There's a reason that quite a lot of hit songs aren't done by 28 people, but they often are. Even ones that you think are written by an individual, often 4, 5, 6 people will be involved in the creative process, either as active participants or kind of that kind of critical kind of observer, or that kind of person who puts in that right, just they don't say much. When they say something, it's kind of really just the right thing at the right time. That's why you get those songwriting partnerships where, again, some people are lyric people, some people are melodic people, some people have, lots of songs are written in lots of different ways. This is just a general way that we've come up with today. It's not exactly how I do things myself, but that's actually really quite exciting that it's a little bit different. And I think hopefully you've all felt that you've put in ideas. As I said, if your specific idea that you thought was the best thing in the world didn't get inputted, that isn't because we don't love you and respect you and love your opinions, but obviously it's always going to be tricky with 28 people in the chat. The chat's never seen as much work, as much love and attention as it has in this session. So hopefully it's been, I'll stop sharing my screen. Hopefully it's been an interesting insight. We haven't managed, probably not surprising you, to come up with a finished song. What we do have is an emotion, we have a general lyrical plan, we have a chord sequence or two separate chord sequences, we have a direction, and we have something to listen to, and we have somewhere to go with it, okay, which is actually not bad in the time we've had. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to Rach for manning the chat again, and really I'd love to do a picture in a second. So just really well done. And again, not apologies, but these things are always like kind of herding cats sometimes, because when you have a creative idea, there's nothing you want more than to share that creative idea, because ultimately anytime we come up with a creative idea, it's personal to us, and we want to, therefore, because in our brain it's the one thing that should happen more than anything. And that's why, again, songwriting partnerships break up. Yeah, because you get to know each other, and when it works really well. But over time, that's why all those great songwriting partnerships, a lot of them do stop. A lot of them do break down and then come back together again. You think about quite a lot of those famous songwriting duos, like whether it be Lennon McCartney or Simon and Garfunkel or whatever. You've got things where even with two people or more, songwriting partnerships they sometimes always last. But with 28 of us, I think probably it'd been an interesting one if we were all in a room trying to write a song in person. I imagine that we'd come to blows relatively soon, and me and Rachel will be pulling you off each other. But
I'm not quite sure how you divide 0.03 of a pence in royalties between 28 people. So.
Yeah, with difficulty. With difficulty. Well, what would happen normally is I'd take everything and pretend I did all the work. It's just like the collective normally, isn't it, really? I take all the credit and everyone else does all the work. This is like a music team meeting. Everyone else does the graft and I just take the credit. It's brilliant. If you want an insight into music team meetings, this is what it's like. Everyone else does the work and then I claim it, and then you all say thank you, Simon. It's marvellous. It's brilliant. So thank you so much. Let's do a little smile for the camera. Smile now, please. Who's taking this?
Me.
Excellent.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Well, folks, we're a little bit over time, but I could have probably gone on for a lot longer. Thank you so much, folks. Please feel free. You've all got my email address. Feel free to send any thoughts and ideas through. I will email you out like the audio so far, and we can then find a time where we can hopefully get together again and have another go and see what else we can come up with. And feel free to send me some thoughts. So thank you so much, and well done.
Thank you, Simon. It's really
so much.
Great.
Well done, everyone. Well done.
Thanks a million.
Very
everybody.
enjoyable.
Bye.
Thank you, Simon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Wonderful.
And if you're watching on
Thank you so
YouTube,
much.
you're watching on YouTube and you want to get involved in this, then it's bigsci@outlook.com. Send me a message and I'll put you on my mailing list, and we can have you as a silent watcher. I'm not sure if you're allowed to be creatively involved. Well, you can be, but you're not having a percentage of the royalties. Do you know what I'm saying?
There'll be even more cats to herd.
Right, I think we pressed stop on the recording.